I ask for.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you say that, because it reminds me of all those times during my own healing journey when I had a healing crisis and it felt so awful. And then when you're in it, you think, this isn't working. It's just not working. I feel worse. Why do I feel worse? And then you get through that and you realize, oh, it was cleansing, because that takes you to a higher level. And if whatever is causing these seizures in Coco is related to stuff, being liberated, stored, harmful acidic substances being stored in the body and being liberated back into the bloodstream, and then, encountering some part of the nerve sheath or whatever that still hasn't healed, if that's what's causing it, then that would be a good thing happening, because that stuff is coming out into the bloodstream and it's going out of the body forever.
And that is why I've started to look at this. See, when you're in the healing crisis and the symptoms occur, you freak out and you think, oh no, what do I need to do? Do I need to change? Does she need more plants? It's like, no, everything you did before led to this point, which you wanted. So why would you change now? It's like, no, that's when I had to stay on track the most.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. And there were so many times, and I can tell you how you can, because she would have so many seizures back to back to back, and sometimes she would have one and then go right into another. And, anybody would look at me and go, you're crazy. You need to get that dog to the vet. But imagine, a vet observing that situation with a different perspective wouldn't realize you're healing, your dog is going this way, not that way. So they're going to mistake it for degeneration, when actually it's a reversal. And I thought that I kind of understood disease reversal. I don't think I had ever experienced anything like it in my life, going through an actual, what they call in homotoxicology, regressive vicariation. I don't even know if I believed it was possible, but now I actually am confident it is possible. It has been amazing.
Yeah, the symptoms can look the same. And I keep telling people it looks the same, whether you've cleaned up your diet, cleaned up your dog's diet, and they're going through this detox and stuff coming out. The symptoms of that look the same as when you were feeding your dog garbage and they got to that tipping point and the body said, I got to get this stuff out of here, which leads to the lethargy and the lack of appetite and other symptoms in dogs, symptoms of degeneration. But anyway, it looks the same. And it's so hard to convince people to not be frightened when they see it, when it's part of the healing process. And, we natural hygienists are wide open to ridicule and just being put down by medical types, by veterinary followers who say, well, that doesn't work. Obviously it doesn't work. Well, the thing is, when the symptom happens as a part of detox, it just happens once. It happens a couple times and then it's gone forever. You don't have to manage it for the life of the dog. You don't have to sacrifice those vital organs that are trying to neutralize the dog on a daily basis. So, clearly, obviously, it's a better way.
Well, thank you for that, because that leads me into one thing that I think has really been important. And that is, how our healing crises, because there were many of them, and it would always be precipitated by this dog that would look so beautiful. You would look at her and I would look at her eyes, and her coat was white and gorgeous. And I would say, wow, you look so great. And then boom, there we go. And this happened over and over and over again. So I got to the point where I was like a little bit nervous about seeing her looking really good, because I knew that the body had just mustered up enough energy for the next wave of whatever was coming. But we did have a real acute phase of detox. We had, after about, I would say, so 8 to 10 weeks in, we're kind of good. She's losing weight, but she just looks great. Her energy's good. She's still fitting 12 to 14 days. And then she has a series of fits. And after that, she's blind. She's blind. She cannot see. She is smelling us because she doesn't know where she is. She can't get out of tight corners. She's head pressing. She's peeing in the house. She's disoriented. She's walking around not knowing what to do. She's skinny as hell. Everybody is ridiculing us, telling us, we're being negligent. That was the hardest point, I think. That was when we contemplated, are we really doing the right thing and by our dog? And are we going to get through this, or are we going to have to put her down? And we even had a meeting with the boys and said, look, this is our little girl here, and nobody wants to lose her, but we've got to be realistic, because in fact, if you look at the definition, interesting, of a healing crisis, I had it written down, but I can't remember what it is, but it basically talks about a significant turning point that will either result in recovery or basically death or going the other way.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, it is dramatic. A healing crisis is dramatic. And you don't know where you are. You've never been there before. You don't know if you're going up, down. You're not in control of the process. You can't do a damn thing about it. It is just happening. So here we are with this dog who's blind and skinny, and I'm dying inside. I'm crying every day because I'm just like, we're going to lose her. And then we get the visit from the RSPCA on top of that. But I can tell you, because you were talking about the transient nature of these things, the blindness lasted about 4 days, and then it started to taper. It might not even been that long. It started to taper off. Every time after a cluster for a long while, she was disoriented for a while. The peeing thing happened, more than once. But the blindness and the real kind of just pacing around like dementia, waiting at the hinge side of the door, that one? Oh my God, yes, she had that. So I was like, oh. So this is where we were when we also had a visit from the RSPCA. And you talk about, being so difficult to hang on in those times.
Tell us a little bit about that. What did they do? So you were reported for being neglectful of
a
your
skinny
dog or
dog.
something?
I was reported for a skinny dog, but I just want to say real quick, I was hanging on to the good things that I was seeing. I was hanging on to the fact that, the blindness wasn't staying there. If she had continued to be blind, I would have been worried. If she had continued to pee in the house, I would have been worried. But I kept saying, why is she not, this has to be a good thing, not a bad thing, right? And then I have to say, one day, I was in the middle of this desperate moment, and Kelly Jo, who often I